the early 1990s, Disney's Beauty and the Beast became a cultural phenomenon, winning over audiences worldwide and solidifying Disney's return to form during its Renaissance era. Given the movie's enormous popularity, it was only natural that the tale would make its way to home consoles. Released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in 1994, Disney's Beauty and the Beast is a platforming game that lets players step into the role of the Beast as he journeys to save Belle and redeem himself. Although it didn't achieve the same level of iconic status as other Disney platformers like Aladdin or The Lion King, the game has a unique charm and remains an interesting piece of Disney's video game legacy. Developed for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System by Probe Software, a British game development studio known for porting and developing games on multiple platforms, and published by Hudson Soft. By the early 1990s, video games based on movies were becoming increasingly popular, and Disney was one of the driving forces behind this trend. With Disney's high production standards, especially after successful games like Aladdin, there was significant pressure to bring Beauty and the Beast to life in a way that captured the essence of the movie while fitting the platforming genre popular at the time. The game's developers aimed to leverage the SNES's 16-bit capabilities to recreate the enchanting world of the movie, and they worked closely with Disney to ensure that the visuals, music, and characters felt true to the beloved movie. While they faced the challenge of translating a nuanced love story into an action platformer format, Probe managed to capture the tale's core themes of courage, redemption, and love, focusing on the Beast's journey as a metaphor for his emotional growth. Beauty and the Beast follows the movie's story, but centers on the Beast's perspective. In the game, players take control of the Beast, a prince cursed to take on a monstrous form until he can find true love. When Belle, a kind and intelligent village girl, arrives at his castle and begins to see past his exterior, the Beast's chance at redemption begins. However, the jealous and malicious Gaston, who is determined to make Belle his own, becomes the central antagonist, and his presence looms as a constant threat to the Beast and Belle's happiness. As the Beast, players navigate through the enchanted castle and surrounding environments, defeating enemies, overcoming obstacles, and ultimately seeking to protect Belle from Gaston's clutches. The story highlights the Beast's transformation, not just physically but emotionally, as he learns to care for Belle and those around him. The game's ending mirrors that of the movie, with the Beast's true form restored by Belle's love. The game is a side-scrolling platformer, similar in style to other popular Disney games of the era, but with some unique twists that reflect the Beast's strength and personality. Playing as the Beast, players can engage in both hand-to-hand combat and special moves. The Beast can punch and claw at enemies, utilizing his physical strength to overpower foes, primarily enchanted objects like possessed furniture and other magical creatures from the castle. The Beast can also let out a roar to stun enemies momentarily. This roar ability needs time to recharge, adding a layer of strategy to combat as players decide when to use it. The game consists of multiple levels inspired by different areas of the Beast's castle and the surrounding environment. Levels include places like the dungeons, grand ballroom, snowy forest, and castle rooftops, each with its own unique enemies and obstacles. The levels increase in difficulty, with more complex platforming challenges and tougher enemies as players progress. By the time players reach the climactic confrontation with Gaston, they must have mastered the Beast's combat and movement skills to succeed. It combines traditional platforming challenges with light puzzle-solving elements. For example, players may need to activate switches to open doors, or time their jumps carefully to avoid hazards like falling chandeliers or icy patches in the forest. The Beast's large size and slower movements add an extra layer of challenge, as players must work within his limitations to successfully navigate tight spaces and platforms. The game's graphics capture the aesthetic of the movie well, with richly detailed backgrounds and character sprites that closely resemble the animated movie's style. Each level features a unique design that reflects the setting from the movie, whether it's the dark, eerie dungeons or the elegantly decaying grand ballroom. The soundtrack features renditions of iconic songs from the movie, which, while limited by the SNES's sound capabilities, still managed to evoke the movie's memorable musical atmosphere. These renditions add to the immersion, making players feel like they're part of the enchanting tale. The SNES version of Beauty and the Beast was only one of several games based on the movie released in the 90s. There was also a Sega Genesis version developed by Sega, which had slightly different gameplay mechanics and levels, and a Game Boy adaptation. The SNES game focused on the beast's perspective, which was unique among the different adaptations, as other versions often focused on Belle or had different gameplay structures. The game received mixed reviews upon release. While some critics praised its visuals and faithfulness to the source material, others found the gameplay to be clunky and the difficulty too steep. The beast's large sprite, while accurate to his character, was also seen as cumbersome for precise platforming. Over the years, however, the game has become a cult classic among Disney and retro gaming fans who appreciate it as a unique, ambitious take on the classic fairy tale. Despite the challenges of adapting a romance story into an action platformer, the developers tried to stay true to the themes of the movie. The levels are designed to symbolize the beast's journey from anger and isolation to compassion and love, paralleling the movie's emotional beats in a way that's subtle but effective. Disney took a very hands-on approach to this video game adaptations, insisting on high-quality visuals and animations that aligned with the movie's signature style. This led to a visual fidelity that helped the game stand out among other 16-bit platformers. The Beast's animation style was designed to convey his animalistic movements, with an emphasis on his strength and weight. The team worked hard to ensure that the Beast felt as imposing in-game as he did on the big screen. While Beauty and the Beast may not have reached the same acclaim as other Disney games, it contributed to Disney's growing influence in the gaming industry and demonstrated the potential for adaptations of animated movies. The lessons learned from this title would help pave the way for other Disney classics on future consoles. Disney's Beauty and the Beast for the SNES is a fascinating entry in the history of Disney video games. Though it never achieved the fame of other titles like Aladdin or The Lion King, it remains a unique and memorable adaptation of one of Disney's most beloved tales. The game captures the essence of the movie while offering an experience tailored to fans of action platformers. Its visuals, music, and character animations showcase Disney's commitment to quality, even in an industry not traditionally associated with fairy tales. Today, it holds a special place among retro gaming enthusiasts who view it as a testament to the enduring appeal of Disney stories, even when they're transformed into pixelated platforming adventures. It's a game that, much like the tale itself, continues to charm and intrigue players, proving that sometimes the beauty of a game lies not in its mechanics, but in the heart and story it brings to the screen.